Just, I suppose, frustration for especially for the lads. The amount of work that was put in there yesterday to try and come out on top and try and, I suppose, right a few wrongs from the Limerick game. Yes, it's really just a frustrating afternoon. We did an awful lot of really good stuff, but we just let ourselves down probably in the final third. Our execution just on the shots and the shot selection perhaps at times was questionable. But I felt we showed a lot of the character that we showed against Limerick, and there was a lot of positive stuff there, and I'm very heartened going forward. Just like there's a few things that we just need to sort out, and we need to improve dramatically in order to really compete in these games.
Absolutely. I suppose it's alluded to. I know it's a cliche as well used. I suppose every year, I suppose Division 4 the margins are so tight, Benji, and it comes down to maybe a ball being given away or kicking a ball into the goalie's hand. You're really kind of, I suppose, you're paid for these mistakes at this level.
Oh, definitely. I mean, probably in the first half there, we kicked away 3 or 4 balls. We landed 3 of them in the keeper's hands, and some of them were marginal distance, but a couple of them were definitely kickable, and we just need better execution in those situations. The lads know that themselves, I mean, the moment the ball leaves the foot, they know, that was a chance gone. And unfortunately, we'll say Wicklow being in the situation they were in, we found ourselves chasing the game pretty early on. We came out of half-time 4 down already, and from then on, we never really got into a situation where we created any pressure in their camp. And they were relatively comfortable in the game. We really needed to push them hard in that area, and we just couldn't get the scores that we needed to do that. In fairness, they were far better in front of goal. Their execution was better, and they tacked on points when we were missing, and that was the bottom line, I guess. I felt we matched them for work rate. We penetrated them really well in the first half, created a couple of goal scoring opportunities. But as the game wore on, and even in the first half there, as the first half wore on, we were open a little bit more at the back because we were getting frustrated with not taking these opportunities, and we were pressing forward just a little bit too much. So they had a couple of opportunities to nail a couple of goals, but Paddy Hunt made one cracking save in the first half, and they went to the side netting with another chance. So I suppose, look, in the overall, they were just that little bit more clinical most of the time in front of goal, and that was the difference in the teams on the day, I felt.
Absolutely, yeah. You had an early goal there from Dara Corcoran. I suppose great to see him, getting that goal. He has that, I suppose, pedigree, Benji, up there, and won 1 to 4 points for a long while in the first half. But obviously they went in 8 points to 1-4. I think it was up at half time as well. So what was the attitude like in the dressing room at the break?
It was good. There was no problems. We knew what we had to do, and they settled down very quickly and got their heads in order around what was required. And we went out in the second half, and we executed the plan quite well, I felt. Again, just those chances just went to begging. Now, in the second half, the game was skewed ever so slightly because there was a black card. We were carrying a black card. Dylan got a black card at the end of the first half, which carried into the second, and then Wicklow immediately got a black card. So I suppose the game changes dramatically when you're down to 14 because you're in a holding phase for a bit of time, especially when you don't have the ball. So it's extremely difficult to get in behind the defence in that situation. Like, I suppose that is the one thing I suppose that's a little bit different from last year. We because we're working that bit harder in defence and one-on-ones, and we are coming out really well, and I'm really happy with the progress that the lads are making in that department. But because of the energy expenditure in that, rather than, we'll say, filling up the defensive area, that means that our explosiveness in attack and our I suppose our real drive going forward isn't quite there as much as we'd like. Now, look, we're looking to develop that. That's an aspect of our game we really want to get back to. But you just have to be mindful of the energy that the lads are leaving on the pitch, and you can't answer all the questions all the time. So I suppose, look, going out into the second half, we knew what we had to do. We were holding for a while, and then I suppose we had a chance then of actually pushing on when they went down to 14. But unfortunately, Wicklow, like their savvy competitors, they came out and they sat and they held on to the ball very, very well for that duration. And we probably struggled to get a hold of the ball at that stage. And then they came up with a couple of scores, like I say, when we were missing. So that pushed the game out a little bit. And then it was go for broke, and we were taking a lot of chances with ball at that stage, and we turned over a couple of balls and ended up in the back of our net, and that was the game done then.
Yeah, unfortunate, I suppose. 2 rounds in now, Benji, no points on the board. I suppose you can't really, there's no point dwelling on it now, or you don't have much time, I suppose, to dwell on it, which might be a good thing with Wexford obviously coming to town next Saturday night now, and I suppose that game is of huge importance now, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, every game. Like, look, I suppose, we set out a target, and our target was to try and come out of Division 4. It's going to be extremely difficult now. Let's be straight about it. But that said, like, we've got to set targets. And now, in order to meet or try to get closer to that target, it's an improvement we need. And we have a lot of substance to work on from yesterday's game. We were still working on stuff, and I felt we sorted out an awful lot of issues that we had in that Limerick game. And that was shown up there yesterday, and we're very happy with that. And again, it's another stepwise improvement we're looking for again for this weekend now. But who knows, in this league, you just don't know. I mean, teams are knocking each other. So you don't know what way this thing is going to pan out, and we'll keep plugging away. We'll be hopeful of giving a good account of ourselves in Fairfield on Saturday night against Wexford. They'll be coming up there on a high after turning over Carlow last Saturday. So I mean, it's still all to play for as far as we're concerned, and our boys, they're buzzing with the thought of improving, and that's what it's all about for them. There was a bit of a low after the game, obviously. I mean, it was such a frustrating afternoon. We went up there full of enthusiasm to get this job done. But look, that's where we are, and like I say, once we continuously improve, we feel that we're going somewhere. And like, because of the new crop of guys, we're covering a lot of ground that we had covered last year. That said, they're picking it up, and they're running with it, and that's all we can ask of them.
Absolutely. And I suppose a final point then, as you say, Benji, they can't be faulted for effort or application, and you alluded to the tightness of the nature of Division 4. I think there was 2 of the games yesterday, there was only a point between them, Limerick just edging London and Sligo just edging Antrim. So a win Saturday night would really kind of get the campaign back on track.
Yeah, it would. I mean, we had to wait for 3 losses last year before we got our first win, and then we kicked on quite well for the rest of the league. So, I mean, we'd be hoping that we could do it maybe next Saturday night, and then you just don't know, because a team playing with confidence is a different animal. And the boys at the moment, like, they're just searching for that little bit of a help, I suppose, a little bit of a boost. And if we could get that under our belt, because our performances are actually not bad. Our performances with the ball, like, at times we leave ourselves down, but generally speaking, we're performing quite well. And especially in the defensive department, I think we've moved on an awful lot from last year in that area. So if we can continue to improve the performances, perhaps the results will follow. And if the results follow, then the confidence starts to come, and then all of a sudden you're watching a different team. So that's what we'll be hoping for anyway.
Super, yeah. Benji, that's super. Bye.